So the next part of this, we're going to do the lesson menu and we're going to search for a lesson. So if a pupil rings up and says they've got a lesson booked with an instructor and we're not sure when it is, instead of actually searching through the diary, you can actually go into the search for a lesson bit. So if you click the search for a lesson, find the instructor and find the pupil's name in the instructor list. So very similar, all these lists. Double click it and that will show you what lessons the pupil has got booked with the instructor. You can print that lesson page off if you want to. Obviously one of the lessons there has already been prepaid for the PP, some of it's already been prepaid. The other two lessons, the first two have not got PP, so they need to be, payment needs to be taken for them lessons. So if we double click one of them, that'll take us to the details of that lesson. If we want to rechange or reschedule the lesson, we can click the reschedule button there to change it to a different date, which I'll go through in a different session. And we'll go through the list. We can edit lessons, so you can pick a lesson from the certain date. So if we pick lesson of the week, we've got one lesson on the weekday there on Thursday, so you can obviously have that. And that's for every instructor. So if you had 10 instructors, all the lessons will be listed there for the certain day of the week. Or you can change it just to the criteria of just searching for the one instructor's lessons. And the lesson payments list, same again, select the instructor, you can find out which has been paid. So the lesson is already, the only one that actually been paid for is just a 1-2 hour lesson from that pupil. And in the lesson section there, we've got some of us, the track records. You can add track records, tracking pupils' status. So a little tracking diagram, 3 stages. You've got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Sorry, 4 stages of stage 4 as well. Okay, stage 1 is like when they first start lessons, and it's a 1 to 9 scale of their progress. So 1 is never had lessons before, and the IOs becomes more independent. So in 9 is where they not need any help from instructor at all, more or less test standard, and they can be changed by just clicking the boxes and adding or decreasing to whatever you want. So you can remember yourself from lesson to lesson what the progress of the pupil is in certain areas. Okay, emerging right junctions. If obviously they have a bad week, you can adjust that down as well, so you can click it back down, so you can reduce them down. If you want to completely take it off completely, just click the left hand side box next to the title, and that will reduce it down to clear it off again. And that's got all different stages for the stage of the driving, which is helpful. And the last part of the lesson is setting the test up, so that just goes back to the pupil screen. So you find the pupil, click there, and you just go into the test details to do the test details of the pupil. And that's the lesson section. There is other ways of getting to lessons. You can go from the pupil menu itself by clicking the pupil, search for the pupil, and you can go actually into the diary from the pupil details screen. When you add lessons now for the pupil, through this you can only add lessons for that pupil. You can't add lessons for different pupils. So for example, if we wanted to lesson there, there's no list with other pupils details in the right hand screen there. The pupil list is now greyed out, so the only lessons you can add for is the pupil which details you come into, which is great if you just want to add loads of lessons for that pupil. And the last way of adding lessons to an instructor's diary is by using the instructor menu. If you click the instructor, find the instructor details, and you can go in through the lesson setup details, and you can use the new pupil requirement there and check diary now button there. That'll take you to the diary. You can add pupils to the diary. Again, here we've got the pupil list now highlighted with all the pupils in there, what you would do when you've added loads of pupils to the diary. Select your pupil, 2-hour lesson, and book the lesson. And there's pupils added on there. So we've got quite a few lessons building up there, all for the same pupil. Having a lot of lessons this week. Once you finish that, you can click this square. That gets you back to the instructor's details. Close it down, back to the main menu.